Hey guys, it's Jaden and we're back. We're talking about Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 10. I hope. I've been messing with numbers. Terra Firma. Let us get into it, Part 2. Again, this is a very weird episode because it just feels like there are two episodes in one. But I feel like this is still just the biggest homage out to Michelle Yeoh and what she's done inside of Star Trek Discovery. Miss Ma'am has done a lot. I mean, I love it for her. I love everything about her. I think that she's brought a really strong presence to the show. I think it's a little weird how we kind of look at Philippa Georgiou from the Terran light and not even from like the initial version of her and as a Starfleet captain. And I do want to know probably more about her, but at the same time, like Philippa Georgiou, Imperius Centaurus, Rex, Junior, Senior, she does just do a lot for us, and she brings a lot to the table that I don't think diminishes Philippa Georgiou from the Prime Universe's character whatsoever. But as we get into this episode, just a couple quick things that we have to note down, just so we know that this happened. We have to talk about this. Essentially, Philippa said, hey, you know what, I'm going to try and reform Michael. So we put her in the agonizer. She's still resisting, still telling her about herself. Here's the thing. I absolutely abhor is when people spit at each other. I think spitting is the grossest thing you can do to people. And the fact that Miss Michael Burnham spit at Philippa Georgiou, i.e. Michelle Yeoh, I was shaking. Like, that's how much I don't like seeing people spit at people. And this is the second show within the past 24 hours where somebody has spit at somebody and it is connected. Gross. It's just so gross. Then we get this great montage of the people helping Philippa break Burnham. We have Culber in there force feeding her. We have Tilly zapping her with the agonizers. Owasakun zapping her with the agonizers. And we just honestly have to love to see it. Detmer tried to basically tell Burnham, like, yo, you need to just give in. And it's like, what about Lorca? Lorca's not coming, babe. Lorca's not coming. Well, Anyway, Burnham then pledges her loyalty out to Georgiou, and after some Firefly story about, you'll always be my daughter, basically. And she vows to basically kill all her co-conspirators herself and vows in loyalty and all that mess. And then she goes. She and Detmer pewing and throwing all the badges. When I said that was actually a good scene, like watching the badges fly on the table, a great image. And then Georgiou said, Michael, she killed Detmer. I've really come to like her this season a lot. I've come to like her in general. So any version of her dying is just kind of sad. So Detmer's dead. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the conversation between Terra and Saru and Georgiou about like Varahai and about it not being a madness and actually telling him the truth on it and how to actually survive it, becoming this capable being. And he's just like, you're not from here. You're not Terran. And she's like, yes, I am. I've seen things, though. She alluded to, like, seeing things in the other universe and all that. He's like, you need to go back to where you come from. You're just going to die. And she's just like, I can't. This is my home. So I'm going to try and make this the best place I possibly can. That's just what's going to have to be. So they end up tracking some guy out named Duggan because they're trying to find Vicar, who is actually Lorca. And they take him out, and then it becomes, like, a whole entire thing. And then Georgiou and Burnham end up fighting. She's like, basically, you should have killed me when you had a shot. And George was like, well, I really never trusted you the way I should have anyway. So, bam. When I tell you, I was gagged. I was laughing over the fact of like, oh, you're going to betray me? I'm going to give you at least a second chance. You're going to betray me again? Fooled me once. Shame on me. Fooled me twice? Shame on you. There won't be a third time. So, battle ensues. Owasakun and that lieutenant basically that would fight in the first episode, I didn't mention it here, but if you saw it, you saw it. They got even. Owasakun beat his ass. Everybody basically died on Burnham's side of things. Saru with the Varaha out here lifting people up like you do. You're just like, all right, my guy, okay, calm down. So he lifted them up. He's blasting them out. There's also this whole thing of basically Georgiou and Burnham fighting, and all that stuff like that. They basically kill each other. Burnham dies first, but they kill each other, and then all of a sudden, Georgiou wakes up. She basically never left that door. So the door is basically is like a multiversal doorway, which I'll get to in a second because I have a whole thing on that. And it basically allowed Georgiou to like make some different decisions in her life. So it turns out Carl is the Guardian of Forever, which is being more of a portal that allows people to go back and forward in time. And he basically is where he is because the temporal wars basically tried to use him and abuse him. So he left and figured some stuff out. And he moved to like a remote planet. So he said that we had to really test you, and we weren't just gonna send you back, but we had to really test you first to see exactly what was gonna happen. And he's just saying like you may have failed, but you at least tried to elicit peace, even in the Terran world. And that's all that matters. And then he also said something key of like, somewhere another Georgiou is breathing her last breath. I was like, hold up, what? Anyway, again, we're gonna get back to that in the end. Overall, coming to a basically close, Adira and all of them were basically trying to pierce the veil of wherever that Starfleet ship is and the nebula. They couldn't because they couldn't. So then Booker came in, helped them out. He read all the space manual, he read the technical manual. He said, oh, let me help you out with some Emerald Chain ideas. And he did. And then they're like hacking in to read biosignatures inside the ship. They also ended up having to say goodbye to Georgiou because Georgiou ended up walking through that portal. And oh my God, Burnham and Georgiou saying goodbye to each other was just wild to me. But non-existent, who cares? Going forward, Vance ends up talking to Saru, being like, what's going on, my guy? Who really cares? They end up giving a great tribute to Georgiou and just like the pain in the ass, but greatness and the badass that she is. And I think this was also a great send-off for her on the show. Next episode, we're getting into actually going to the signal. Next episode, we're going to the signal, so that's really cool. Really excited about that. Obviously, I think we're going to get attacked by one of the Emerald Chain ships, and it's going to be very detrimental because it just is. So going back to my whole multiversal thing, because this is kind of in my notable mentions, I think that this is the first like 2 episodes of like talking about the idea of the multiverse. So yeah, you could say that multiverse has been talked about because there is the idea of the parallel universe in the first place. But no, Star Trek really has never talked about the infinite amount of worlds. They only talked about a parallel world. So in my opinion, I thought it was really just a parallel world. Maybe there is a concept of multiversal, like the multiverse itself, but like that has never been something that's been explicitly talked about. They just acknowledged the fact that the Kelvin timeline, which we all knew was canon, but they acknowledged also again that it was canon even in the last episode with that guy. So now we've had a conversation on basically possible multiverses because Carl basically was like, hey, yeah, some other world, Georgiou is dying, like leaving her last breath. And then I'm just thinking like, yeah, this is the multiverse. So we finally have that confirmation. And I may be wrong on my assessment of the multiverse, but it just seems like this is the first like actual point of it. Even though it seemed like it was more of like a possible timeline or Carl was some type of universal weird thing, but obviously it wasn't a dream sequence. It's actually something that actually happened. So in my opinion, I think like it was the entirety, but then it was a branch off of another universe that was created right there from when Georgiou entered the Chiron that day. Entered Discovery that day. So interesting situation. Very excited to see it. Cannot wait to see Michelle Yeoh on Section 31. I'm actually very excited. I wonder who the cast is going to be. Is Ash Charlie going to be there? Because honestly, we don't really need him unless he really switches his character up a little bit. Are we going to see Spock? No, we're going to see him in Strange New Worlds. Not the point. Other notable mentions, I like the title sequence, even though it was inverse, probably because of the mirror world. But like, no, that title sequence looked great. I've always had an issue kind of with like the brown organic color thing, whatever. I don't know what the hell that is. So seeing them with a blue, with a navy, I was like, whoa. And it seemed like it was the same exact render of like this season's theme, but like just rendered in a different color, and it just looks really good. Like I like the color better. I wish it would stay that. I don't know if it is, I doubt it, but I think like it looks so good. And obviously mirrored, inverse, yada yada yada. We all get it. I did note other things about like Burnham wearing a jumpsuit in the mirror universe. I was like, damn, she will always forever be out here just doing her own thing, isn't she? So I also love this whole scene where Burnham was told by Georgiou before she left that like, Saru may have the captaincy and I respect him a lot for everything he's done, but don't act like you do not deserve it also. You are just as powerful. You are just as strong. You can do what needs to be done. And I love that because it's like, thank you. Thank you. Even, thank you. I don't know, that's just something I've been thinking about in general. I've been saying it for like, I think, the past couple weeks. So, ooh, we got to see Riza, or Riza, whatever the hell. Only reason I knew that is because of DS9, and then the Ferengi would always be like, we're going to Riza! We're going to Riza, baby! When the Grand Nagus would be like, we're going to Riza! I don't know why, this makes me laugh. Speaking of that, I would love to see Ferengi in the current timeline. I would love to see where they're at. They obviously have to change things from like the Great Economic Order or whatever the hell that was, but like, I would love to see them in now. Besides, you know, shout out to Captain, eventual Captain Nog. Yeah, shout out to Captain Nog. I also have this whole idea of like, I always love the Terran Empire. I love the Terrans. I love the Terran universe. I think it's so interesting, right? However, I always thought, like, oh my god, what about a Terran series? A Terran series would be boring. The Terrans, seeing the mirror universe and the Terran Empire, it's good that we only see them like very sparingly, like either in one-off episodes or like one-off experiences, because them as a series would be boring. It would just be boring because they're all so rash about their decision making. Like they pretty much can wrap up a whole storyline in an episode. There's not really an overarching story. I think a more interesting story though in their empire would be the formulation of the coalition. But I would love to see like, you know, where they are separated from the universe, but more of like from the other perspective. Because obviously the humans are gonna have a downfall somehow. So anyway, that's just my video. If you liked it, give me a like, comment. I really want to talk to y'all about it. Subscribe, please. Really could use some more subscribers, but like, woo, I've been on a roll. Anyway, I'll see y'all next video. Talk to y'all later.